Welcome, KG Das in the house. How are you doing? Let's tell people a little bit about who you are and how I know you. So tell the audience a little bit about who you are, KG.
Well, hi Jill, good to see you. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this wonderful discussion, chit-chatting with Jill, the Jill Butler experience, which I experienced a few times already. It's quite an experience. So thank you for inviting me. It's kind of mysterious, and I don't know what's going to happen here. I hope we're gonna dive into the mysteries of your experience here. And I'd like to also thank you for everything that you're doing in the online community, in the Syracuse community, for bringing spirituality and all these wonderful energies in a very fun and exciting ways. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. So a little bit about myself. My name is KG or Keshava Gopal Das. KG is a name that my spiritual teacher gave me. I was born in Israel. Actually, my Hebrew name is Haggai, and some people call me Guy, and so now it's just KG. It's easier. But yeah, I was born in Jerusalem, in that region, and Jerusalem is a very historical and important city. So it was interesting growing up there, seeing different traditions, and I grew up in a secular home. There was not really any practice, any spiritual practice in our home. My both parents were working. My mom was working for kind of like an office, and my dad was in construction. But even in childhood, I was always interested in more philosophical questions. So I kind of started going after school to see what's out there in terms of things to study, like religion and philosophy and things like that. So I also came across a school. I don't know if it still exists. It's called New Acropolis. So they taught about different traditions in the old world, right? Whether it's the Greek, the Egyptian, the pagan, the Hindu, all kinds of different old traditions. And we celebrated different things there and learned. I was only like 15, maybe. And so I kind of escaped the regular routine of all the regular stuff that's going on and try to see what's more, all these kind of old questions. And so, yeah, then I grew up in Jerusalem, and I was exposed to like television and things like that. So I remember watching TV, and I saw shows from America, and I thought, wow, everything is so nice there. Like how in television it's projected as this. Like I was watching, I don't know if you remember 902. 10.
I do remember
Yeah,
that show.
yeah. So there's like, I think the main character is adopted,
Is
right?
who?
Adopted.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So, and I thought, wow, people are so nice in America. Maybe if I'll go there, I'll be adopted. So that's what I was thinking. So I set myself to go there and find love. And I thought that, like, they always show loving people and like romance and things like that. And I thought, yeah, I'm gonna go there and find love. So I took a flight. I saved money. First of all, I saved money. I worked random stuff, and then I saved money and I flew to LA
Which
because
where?
that's what LA, Los Angeles,
Oh,
LA.
LA. LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I landed and I went straight to 90210.
You did it.
And I was asking people, tell me, where is 902? And they tell me, well, you are here. You are here. So it's like, okay, now what? I'm here. There's a few palm trees and okay, what do I do now? Nobody's adopting me here. So then I thought, okay, well, I have to do something. So I found I called my relatives and somehow they got me some some work in a floor shop, like they were selling floors, and I was just cleaning there, and I found a place to rent because I was looking, I have to be where the most exciting things are. So I said, I want to live in Hollywood. So, but at that time, Hollywood was there's the Hollywood sign, which is up on the hill, but below the sign where you go down to the streets is pretty different.
It's
There
a little
were
scary from what I hear.
it's what's that?
It's not that great of a place from what I hear.
Yeah, there was at that time there was a lot of crime. There was a lot of what's called freaks. I don't know. I think they also call themselves freaks. People with tattoos and a lot of like you know everything.
Like
All the clothes
gangs,
are
like gang
black,
members or
blacks.
something.
No, like just and then there were a lot of prostitutes. They're walking on the streets. At that time, there was not much internet, so it was just. I think this was well, I came 20 3 years ago.
Wow, yeah.
But
Things are quite
I'm
different now.
41, and I came when I was 18. So yeah. So yeah. So
Wow.
then I rented a place there, and the place it cost. I remember it cost like I think about 695 to rent.
Yeah, the prices are a lot different now than then. Holy
Yeah.
cow, 695 is a steal.
But the problem is I was making only $600 a month. Because I was not that important. So I
It's
had a
not
little bit of
bad.
saving, but I was losing every month.
Mhm.
I saved I think $3,000 before I came because I was working for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So you
I
saved
was
a
working
bunch.
from the age of 15 to 18. I saved and
Yeah.
I got there, but the money started going down, so I didn't have much to eat. So at that time there was all these grocery stores. They had these tasting, um, like you could go and taste something, and they're like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The free tastings. Yeah.
free
The
tasting.
samples, the
So
free samples.
yeah, free samples. So I would go to different grocery stores, and that would be my dinner.
Oh,
Free samples.
yeah. Ah, wow. That's
And
intense.
then, yeah, I would get, I remember I would, I was very excited about the American life. Like everything excited me
Mm.
because it was all new. Yeah, I'd go to fast food shop, get the ketchup, go back home, and make myself a tomato soup. Just from that, it was all free. So,
Oh, you made tomato soup out of ketchup?
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
because I didn't have much money, so
Oh my goodness.
I had to
Wow, you were
survive.
really, really
And then I,
hustling.
I learned how to get even better stuff. Because I was living in Hollywood, I saw different crews, filming crews with cameras and people, and they were like RVs. They're like they have all this stuff, trucks. And then I saw they're like always eating food. So I was, oh wow, how do I get on with that? So I got myself, I found this phone. It's like you remember walkie-talkie or whatever it's
Mhm.
called? Like it's yeah, I saw it. I'm going there and pretending to be like one of the crew. And then they have this whole setup of food for everyone. I would go and grab food
So
and
you were like
then
pretending, you were like sneaking on so you could get some of
yeah,
their food. You're like pretending you're one of the coworkers.
yeah, and then they would say, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing lights." That was the best thing I could come up with. Um, but then, really, I was looking for love, and yeah, in LA, I was kind of starting to go to um, a place of Kabbalah, um, and I was sit down with a couple of rabbis, and they were uh, pretty interesting because it's not the Orthodox style where it's a lot of traditions and not so much philosophical discussion. But they were really going into like philosophical discussion, and also they were getting drunk, tipsy, you can say, you know, tipsy. I don't know if it was allowed, but they were drinking quite uh, nicely. When the Shabbat entered, you're supposed to have a big meal, and so they would invite everyone, and that was also free, so I like that too. And then they had, I think it was wine, and sometimes they cheated and had some other stuff. I didn't have anything really. It was just
You sure?
fun to see. No, I was always shy of stuff like that. Um, I mean, I had different experiences on different substances, but normally I would just if it's something I already tried before, it's like okay, I already know what that is. I like to stay clear-minded.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah, so after LA, I moved back to Israel. I did some studies and I started working for a software company in Israel. And because I was already familiar with the American culture a little bit and English, they gave me the opportunity to move back to the United States. This time I moved to Denver. And I already had a good job with this software company, and they had a software that was for media. Um, and I was working in Denver and doing kind of what's called implementation support for this software company. And one day I get a call from my manager, my boss. And so he calls me on Friday and he says, "Hey, KG, we have this opportunity to go to India on Monday."
Mm.
And so I asked him, I didn't know anything about India, so I was just kind of trying to be businesslike, and I asked him, "Is there a bonus or something?" He said, "Yeah, there's a bonus." And so, and how long is the project? It's 1 month.
Wow.
So I was kind of free. Um, at that time, I didn't have any attachments. So there you go. I fly to India for my work. And yeah, I remember first time landing in India, I thought, just even flying above Mumbai, I flew to Mumbai, and it was like a monster of a city, and it's a mess, it's like chaotic. And I was thinking to myself, how could people live in such a chaotic city? Um, and then I spent a few days there, and I got into the rhythm. At that time, I got a really good setup with my work. They provided me a driver and a nice hotel room and a driver, and he would drive me to work in the morning and just pick me up in the evening. So I had this routine where I would just watch, the streets, people walking, lots of traffic, cars, uh, bicycles, animals. There's like people walking, and then you see dogs walking as if they're also going to
Wow.
work.
And the
Yeah, it's
cows, they
like,
just cross the road with everybody else.
yeah, it's
Like,
like, where is this dog going? It's like it feels like he's also going to work, and there's all these people, dogs, occasionally a cow, like in the middle of the city. Imagine you're in Syracuse and you suddenly see a cow crossing the road. Who does this cow belong to? You know,
I know. I mean,
like
it's
there's no fields. There are no fields there. It's like in the middle of the city. But
wow.
people, they're very, they love the cows. So what they do is, even if it's in the city, they'll start giving her food uh, and they'll give her like a ball of oats that they cooked, something like
Yeah,
that.
they revere cows. Cows are very
Yeah,
sacred to them, very sacred to them. How,
yeah,
what was your feeling when you said, like, when you first touched down and you started to mesh with the culture and the people and the energy, like, what was that overall feeling that you started to take inside of yourself?
yeah. I would say this is one of the most impactful moments in my life. Um, I call it a moment, but it was on a in a spread of a few days, and that project actually went on to be a year. It was supposed to be a month, but it was a year. So I was a year in India in 2008, and yeah, the feeling was that a feeling like I'm in a different planet completely. Like it's like a different universe. And because I was used to, in Israel, there's definitely a different culture, but it's very influenced by the West. Um, and every place that I visited, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, I've been to Europe, but India was so different. It was um, everything from. It was not just the culture, the food, the traditions, but it was even how people uh, express themselves and how they feel. They're I'll give you a few examples. You know, every you walk in the street, and every few moments you see a little devotional aspect. So if you have a building where people live in, there's going to be an altar in the somewhere in the building, for the building. If you're walking in the street and you see a few trees, and for some reason there's a chosen tree, there's nice banyan trees, and that tree will be an altar. There'll be a temple, there will be a cave inside the tree, and there might be someone sitting there.
Yeah.
And you see a ruined home, and that's going to be an altar. And so a few moments that you just pass by, you see a temple, an altar, a devotional, devotional activity happening. So it's always there. It's always there. And so the people are very devotional. The other thing is they're very hospitable. I was staying in a hotel, but at first, and just the hotel was, here we have different stars, 1 star, 2 stars, 5 stars, but this was like way beyond. The people greet you with respect, with kind of love, love for a guest. And there was a huge person in the front with a big mustache like this. He was saluting me, and like, and people
Wow.
was, yeah. And then, after a few days,
Genuine kindness, right?
with kindness, it was
Very
very kind.
kindness.
Yeah. And then after a few days of staying there, they all knew what I liked. Like, oh,
Wow.
Mr. KG, we got you your favorite shampoo in your room. I was like, how do you know what my favorite shampoo is? Like,
Wow.
and then I remember even flying at some point to another city for some trip, and I stayed in a hotel there, and there was a a note for me, welcome, this and this, we hope you feel good, and we got you your favorite stuff in your room. I was like, how do you know? Like, things go really quickly in terms of trying to find out what you like and how to please you as a guest. So that was hospitality, but in the business world. And later, when I start having friends, I became friend of the hotel manager. I became friend of some of my coworkers. And when they invited me home, it was an amazing experience of hospitality. I went to one of my friends. The hotel manager was a young Punjabi man. So he said, come to my home, come visit my home in Punjab. Right? So we went, we got on a train, and trains in India is also an experience, and then, yeah, depending where, but there's different types of trains and different types of experiences. It's like the Jill Butler experience. You have a Jill Butler experience, and you have the India train experience. You have to try it.
Oh my goodness, you're comparing my experience to a train. Now we definitely need a sidebar and get into the train experience, from when you went
The
to your
India
hotel to
train.
Punjab, because now I'm very interested, because I haven't been to India yet in this incarnation. So I haven't been on a train in India. So I have no idea what that experience is.
Well, maybe we can arrange you for a trip in India.
It's on the
That
top
would
of
be
my
nice.
It's on the very tip top. I just got my passport, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay. So let's go. So I'm gonna take you through to India in 2008. I was in train. We got to Punjab with my friend's family was there, and this is in they're more in the um, farmers. It's kind of like where the farmers are. Punjab is mostly farming, and his family would do farming, and also they would how do you say build brick, uh, manufacture brick out of clay. So they would have like an oven for clay and brick and create the brick. So that's what their business was. Anyways, I got to
Oh,
their home, and in India, you have the entire family. So you have maybe the grandfather, the parents, the uncles, everyone living in kind of the same place. And so they were so welcoming. And I remember that they had this one room where the whole room was a bed, huge bed, where like 8 or 10 people can sleep in. And everyone can sleep there. Like whoever like is feeling restful.
wow. So a lot of people slept in one room, is what you're saying, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. And so I
That's normal.
remember, yeah, his grandfather, we have queen and full and queen and king, but this
Mhm.
was like village, you know,
How did they all fit?
village like it's just a big room and it's all one big bed. They
Oh,
they
they just have like multiple little beds put together or something to make a big bed?
no, they build it custom. They take the cotton and they make a one big mattress.
Wow, for real?
Yeah, and it's all cotton mattress, and so it's also very healthy. Because cotton is cooling. It's
Yeah,
good temperature. Like
yeah,
today, if you sleep, and I know some of our pillows and sheets are from polyester and not nylon and polyester, and
yeah,
that's kind of very itchy and it's full of electric and heat, and so it may be maybe good in really when it's really very cold, but most of the time it's not good to sleep on polyester. It's better to have like cotton.
yeah, 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 definitely. Did
Yeah,
they
but
invite you did you get invited to have to sleep in that bedroom with all the
yeah.
people?
So what happened is the grandfather he was laying on the bed and he said, "You are the guest, come sleep next to me."
Wow, now
It was a
this is not
privilege,
something you've ever experienced before, right?
Yeah, because here, by the time you get to meet a person, they don't even invite you in America to their home. What to speak on inviting you to their bed? So, it was a very like intimate um experience. They're full of trust, Here you just live next to me. So that level of uh
That's a deep sense of of sharing their intimacy with you.
yeah,
Very intimate energetic exchange to allow somebody
mhm.
into your bed like that.
Yeah, very welcoming, very open-minded, very loving. And it's kind of like, how do you say, familial, family
Yeah.
energy, you know. So yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a
So
beautiful story. I didn't know that that was the case in India. I had a guess that it was kind of like that from what I knew and what I felt, but not to hear someone talk about it. That's so cool.
yeah, I mean the Indians that come here to the United States, um, I would say there's very few Indians that make it to the United States. India has millions and billions of people, and the ones that come here are very focused on um, their career and making money and this and that. So they leave a little bit of that aside. They still have very warm feeling. They want to give. They want to be devotional, and they want to keep their traditions. But since they came here with a goal, uh, it might be changing the priorities in
Well,
terms
yeah, and
of
I think
uh,
too, from the ones that I know, the reason why they're able to come into this country is to be working in these professional fields. So
yeah,
they don't really have a choice but to put that emphasis on those very specialized careers that brought them here. And so then, ideally some of them want to stay here and permanently, and other people are here for visas for a period of time under certain jobs. So it's those sometimes they can't come here permanently, and so they do have to be so focused with those jobs.
yeah. But going back to your question, what is the feeling? All this
Yeah.
experience that I had, the feeling is that things in the world can be different, and there's different. Not only there's different lifestyle that an individual can have, but there's a different lifestyle that a whole society can. And
Oh yeah.
that was really because usually we say, well, we're stuck with this society, and I can live differently. But is there a society that lives differently? And there was. Uh, it's always changing. India is also changing right now. There's a lot of influence coming from the West. And there's also influence from the East here, which is kind of refreshing. Um, so there's an exchange of energies, and that's beautiful. We don't know where it's all gonna go, you know, kind of a mixed or harmonious way of all these energies coming together. That's your job.
Mix it all up, mix it all up,
Mix it all up. Yeah,
mix it
bring
all
all
up.
the flavors. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I feel the future holds for the planet um sort of like a blending of the old and the blending of the new, and somewhere in the middle is going to be the next society, and it's going to be the higher consciousness.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time to kind of stamp out some of the heaviness, and kind of like open the doors to the lightness, to the just the love, the heart space that we're all walking into. But it's a process, and you know not everybody's going to stick around for it, but it's going to be such an interesting experience to watch unfold. It
Mm.
already has become so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are in the, how do you say, we get the preview or we're in the inner worlds of this transformation. So we don't know when it's going to happen, but we're already experiencing it.
Yeah,
So
we're kind of like ushering on the others. We're trying kind of we're the bridges for the
Mhm.
humanity that's still just kind of opening their eyes and trying to accept what they're seeing and feeling, and merging with the new steps. And so we're kind of there, right in front, giving directions.
Yeah, I like the concept of star seeds, or you know, um, you know, um, that there are those who really want to share and give the gifts from spiritual world and from the teachers and from the old and you know and so these wonderful people are not necessarily going to be in one place, because if all the spiritual people are in one place, the rest of the world is going to suffer. So there's a need for a spread of different star seeds in each location. Like, you're a special star seed in Syracuse. So I was fortunate to meet you in Syracuse and doing some work with you. And
Yes, we met from our mutual friend Jen Cattell.
yeah, she's another wonderful personality. And everyone is a little different. They're bringing their unique energy, and as if we are all kind of sent and placed to these locations because of a great gift and skill and character that fit that place, right?
I feel
What do you
kind of like
think?
we're beacons of light, and we're placeholders for the light. So none of us are anything special. We're just in a sense, um maybe just a little older, if you want to put it like that. We're a little more ancient, and we're a little bit more merged with all of our other versions of ourselves. We can kind of quantum jump to our other, incarnations. And, that's something that can be advantageous to assist, because when you can tap in to all those lives and all those beings and all those experiences, you kind of are tapping into the divine akashic. And when you tap into that, you can be anything for anyone at any moment. And there's a big kind of there's a big question, and there's a lot of humans that are calling themselves channels. But I think people are just opening up to their own spirit, to their own soul, and the divine information of all that is just coming through.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking about um, incarnation and divine spirit, so you kind of asked me about India, where the experience, what, and then how did I come to follow my path?
Yes, I want to know that.
Um,
Please tell.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
you told me, but I want the whole world to know in this video.
well, I'm gonna give one kind of um, side of it.
Yeah.
There's so much to say, but I think that one of the most important things for me is that as I was walking and looking for love and looking for some greater purpose, the one thing that I really was attracted to was people and interaction with people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's always trying to find where is the person who's emanating love, who's really aligned with giving, and I also want to align with that too, right? So I met a lot of people who are following such path. And as you mentioned, there's a loving energy in the universe, right? It's like the whole universe is love, right? Uh, there's beautiful nature, there's sun, there's water, sky, you know, it's all love. But for me personally, it was like looking for it in my uh in the experience of my human experience. So so for me it's then I found that path that is called the personal path. And that's the path of Krishna consciousness. It's called the personal path. Although you know, if you read the Bhagavad Gita, uh, you will see that the teachers acknowledge the fact that reality has both aspects, both universal and personal, right? But this is a personal path. So Krishna, or the Great Spirit, you know, as the native call Krishna, um, Krishna is the um, universal spirit, the Great Spirit, and he's what's called Brahman. Brahman is his energy is everywhere. He's in everything. He contains everything, and he's also within everything at the same time, right? So that's called Brahman. And so you can say God is everywhere and we are part of God. But also there's personal aspect, the divine. And that's kind of the focus of this path, is the personal aspect of the divine. The Great Spirit, the divine, the creator, the uh, Godhead, the Supreme Spirit, can appear as the Supreme Personality, right? And the Supreme Personality, that's the name Krishna. Krishna is the all-attractive Supreme Personality of God. Right? So when we say all-attractive, it means that you know, attractive. Each one of us has a unique way of expressing love, right? And so, just like if you have a magnet and you have the negative and positive, and you know, they just attract each other. Similarly, God and the devotee, right? They are attracted to each other like that. In what way? That God is loving, is the original love, and we are an expression of love. So we are the lover. And so each one of us has a unique expression of love. And God is waiting for us to experience that unique expression. So in that way, we are very special, very unique, right? And also at the same time, we are all equal, right? Because we all are coming back to the source of love, right? and it could manifest or seen in different ways. For example, we had the program Shivratri. Remember when Shiva is there? We celebrated there the appearance of Lord Shiva, and so someone may express devotion to an expansion of God, or an incarnation, or appearance. An incarnation is appearance, right? Of the same way that the moon appears each night, but each night appears a little bit differently.
Right.
It's the same moon, but each night the moon looks different. So you could say, well, today is different moon. Today is blood moon, then it's blue lotus moon, then it's full moon, then it's
Right.
the golden moon. And so every moon is different.
Right.
But it's actually the same moon, but it's showing different appearances, different
Different fractals. We're
aspects.
all different fractals.
Yeah, so similarly, the Great Spirit can appear in a person's devotional eyes, right? And as a different vision. It could be the white buffalo woman, who appeared in the native tribe, right? It could be, it could be what's called the Matsya avatar, the fish incarnation, who appeared in the ocean. So, or it could be, we celebrated Lord Shiva's appearance, right? And then there's the appearance of Krishna, and we learn about Chaitanya, right? So there's different appearances of the Great Spirit in our universe, in our reality, right? And similarly, our appearance could be also different, based on our consciousness, right? So I know that I've been around for a few times. At least my intuition tells me, because I have dreams of different lives that I had, and some of them are not so pleasant. They're like, and some of them I had different fights and arguments. I had also some arguments in this life. I try not to fight. But I came in different different locations, and so we also, based on our consciousness, if you see, it's like what you wear today. Today you wear a jeans jacket and some beautiful neck piece, and so that's the appearance today, your appearance experience. So similarly, I appear today with these simple white dress and the tilak, because that's what I like. I like to see, even Krishna has tilak. Krishna has the flute. And this is Bal Gopal. This is if you see behind me, his name is Bal Gopal. Bal means it could mean a couple of things. To me, it means a child, right? So Gopal means, go is the Sanskrit word for cow. Go, cow, and Pal means just like Pal, like a friend. So is the child cowherd friend,
Well, it definitely suits you very well, because you definitely have that childlike energy. for sure. You
Okay,
have
so
a
I'm
very, very
Keshava Gopal. If you see on my, it says Keshava Gopal, Das. Now,
Mhm.
when we say Das, that means someone who has the attitude of devotee, you know, like trying to serve and trying to give and share. So there's five actually mellows. There's many mellows, unlimited mellows, but five principal mellows of divine relationships. So the first one is called Shanta, which is the you can say blissful or peaceful person who has accept God as the greatest giver, the greatest creator. Everything comes from God, so I just accept it and I'm blessed. So if someone is in that mood of Shanta, then he's always happy with everything that God provides. So that's the first type of relationship. In that relationship, the person is considered neutral because he's not reciprocating. He's just enjoying,
Yep.
but he knows that God is there, so he still has a relationship, but he's not giving back. So the second relationship is called dasya, das, and that's the devotee, the servant. He wants to serve God. God is great, so I want to be part of His mission. I want to do something, right? I want to do something for the great God, right? So this is called dasya. And the third one is called Sakya. Sakya is friend, right? Friendship. So someone who develops friendship with God, maybe you have that, is like a conversation with God, tell me and let me tell you, and and I want to so someone who is a friend of God is always in discussion with God, you know, he's considered God as an equal, like, he's a friend of mine, I'm a friend of his, someone, sometimes he listens to me, sometimes I listen to him, so that's called Sakya. And so there's another examples in Krishna's pastimes. Krishna has a brother, so that's he's a friend, Balaram, right? And he has different friends, Subal and Madhul Mangal, and different friends that he has. And sometimes they wrestle, and sometimes they win, and sometimes Krishna loses, and sometimes they have sports, and they have a picnic, and they throw things in each other's mouth. So so that's God, but he's in friendship. And then God has another principal relationship called Vatsalya. Vatsalya means parental, where Krishna appears as a child. So if you see the progression in the first relationship, I don't do anything and God does everything. And the second relationship, God does everything, but I try to serve God. In the third relationship, God is equal. I do something and God does something, right? And in the fourth relationship, it's called God is a child. So I do things for God because God is not able to, because he's a child, And so he needs my help. He needs so God appears as a child. So in this form behind me, God appears as a little boy. So he needs some food, he needs some love, and he needs, some, good encouragement, good words, and you know, so that's
Yeah,
called,
for sure.
that's how, yeah. And the last relationship is the lover, Madhurya. So it's a romantic conjugal relationship where Krishna and the lover is just in love, and then all kind of feelings come up, and the person gives his body to Krishna. So that those are the five principal relationship. Actually, I'm organizing a festival about this topic. So it's called the Five Rasa Festival
Oh, okay.
in um, where I am right now. I'm in North Carolina, in the mountains. It's in October 5th and 6th.
When is it?
October 5th and 6th,
Mm.
you know, near Hanging Rock, North Carolina. And so we're going to dive into each relationship.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds
Yeah.
exciting, actually.
And so we're gonna have some kind of mini party 5 times
Mm.
with food, and each food is gonna be related to each relationship too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's gonna be really unique.
Are you cooking the food or no? Your wife is.
There's gonna be quite a good amount of people here, so we're gonna have different cooks and different help. So it's gonna be pretty exciting.
That sounds like it's going to be great.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
Oh,
And
thank you. I'm
whoever
definitely going
listens,
to come to visit you. I just haven't figured out the date yet, but I am coming
you
to
can
visit you
come
in Karuna.
anytime. Yeah, anytime. It's beautiful here. The way I see it is, it's just like when in our path of Krishna consciousness, we like to, when we cook, we like to think of it as an offering.
Mm-hmm.
So when we cook something, we say, well, we have to cook, but let's offer it to the Great Spirit. Let's offer it to
Mm-hmm.
Krishna, right? And let's let Krishna, in his transcendental way, enjoy what we cook, and then we'll enjoy it afterwards if it's still there. And
Yeah.
it's still there. So then it's now been offered. So we have this good intention and good energy in the food, which is called prasada. And
Mm-hmm.
so then the way I see life and what we do and the activities, and even where we are, like you may ask me, hey, KG, where are you right now? I say, I'm in North Carolina, but this is just like a meal, right? I offer my stay here. I offer my energy here in North Carolina right now, just like I'm cooking a meal. So I'm gonna offer that, and then we're all gonna enjoy it, and then we might cook something else. Might cook something
Mm-hmm.
similar or
Mm-hmm.
different later. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah. And you and Karuna really you travel around, so you go
yeah.
for where you feel guided and
Mhm.
where you can um do more work with more people in different places. And I have so much honor and respect for you two. and all the service that you do, and all the um, being in divine flow and listening to that spirit inside of you, Krishna, and all the energy of creation telling you, okay, it's time for you to leave what you know in a sunny state of Florida, and now you are going to go to another place and
Yeah.
stir it up and add some light and some prasad and some others. And the temple that you created in Syracuse that I have been to multiple times, the
Mantra
energy
Central.
that has been created there,
Yeah.
yes, Mantra Central, the energy is unbelievable. And the people that have put their time and energy into it, you and your wife and Rama and Sita and all the devotees that come there week after week, every
And
single
Joe
time.
Butler.
I come sometimes. I come sometimes. I have definitely brought my energy to that wonderful place. But it's just the amount of devotion and love and, and communion with each other. It's
Yes.
just such a beautiful, beautiful experience. Um, I have all kinds of events spiritual in my lifetime from all different religious sects and understandings. And by far, it's one of my absolute favorite places that I've been. And
Thank
the
you.
welcoming energy and the love and the openness of everyone's heart to everybody that walks through the door. It's just a beautiful experience. I want to thank you for starting that, that
Yeah.
whole space.
Yeah, there's a saying, my Gurudev is saying, in giving, we receive, right? So whenever we just give, it's the greatest pleasure to do that. There's no highest pleasure. So I'm I'm you're gonna, how do you say? It's my pleasure. Thank you,
Your
Jill.
pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Yeah.
I have a question for you too. I always
Yeah.
wondered, and I've never really asked, what is so the stuff on your forehead, what does that
Hmm.
mean exactly? Why is that put there?
Oh,
That
yeah. It's
paint.
you don't like fun stuff, so it's a fun thing to do. So what we do is, you know, Krishna in his village is called also Govinda or Gopal, and he likes the cows. So he likes to see the hoof print. Sometimes he decorates himself with a hoof print. And the
So
other
that is
thing that
actually a hoof print. Who's this
yeah,
got a hoof print?
yeah,
I never knew that. I never
yeah.
ever knew that. But that
The
makes
other thing
so much
is,
sense to me.
yeah, and the other thing is, it's called a Vaishnava tilak. So the Vishnu is like a V, you know, it's like
Hmm.
a V for Vishnu. And
Hmm.
then the other thing that Krishna likes is he likes nature, and especially the representative of nature, the representative of life, um, is in a special personality called Tulsi. And so this is a Tulsi leaf right below the hoof print.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I'm gonna do that one day. I think that's
yeah,
powerful. It's such
yeah.
a beautiful ornamentation.
It's powerful, and at the same time, it's you say you feel the energy of a child, so
Hmm.
that's kind of the energy because Krishna is young, right? And so he's always fresh and young, and so you feel like you're part of that
Oh,
fresh
I
energy.
see.
Yes.
Yeah. My relationship with Krishna, at least in this incarnation and where I sit right now is I've always felt such a deep connection to his childlike character. So his energy being a child and running around and doing pranks. And so whenever I read any of the scripture and whenever I read any of the Bhagavad Gita, and either
Yes.
you tell stories or Jen or other people tell stories of, about that, I always feel this sense of kinship, like, I'm there with him and I'm kind of him and he's kind of me, and I can kind of relate to that like
You
energy
are
because
you
it's so
are his
fun.
representative, because you always you always are in this mood of very fun. So um, so
Well,
whenever
I get more of that when I'm at Mantra Central and I'm with people such as yourself and your wife and other devotees. It lights it up even more. I get tapped into that on such a deep level. And another thing that I think that I like for us to mention is one of the things that the Krishna path is, as far as what I know, is it's a lot of devotion to chanting, and there I've always had a relationship over my course of the last, since I started really practicing meditation and, just my own devotional path. Chanting has always been something that I have felt deeply within me and felt how it vibrates on the planet and how it uplifts everything and everyone. And what's your relationship with chanting? So tell me, I know you and Karuna do a lot of chanting every day
yeah, I think
and mantras.
you mentioned the word akashic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Akashic means within the space or within the ether,
Mm-hmm.
within the realm of possibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that realm, um, what comes out of that realm is sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from that sound, it solidifies into what we see here. So different projections,
Right.
right? And different manifestations. So when we tap into sound, we can tap into the originality of the source of where where it's coming from within the Akash, right?
Mm.
So it's a very powerful practice. It's a very, you can say, instant, right? Practice is it's if you try to build a temple or a room or a house, it's going to take some time and materials and until you can build an altar and a temple. But here you can tap into divinity within sound, right? And it's instant. It's like, let me give you an example. If I tell you, um, now think about um, no, being in on the beach and you have the ocean in front of you, right? So there you go. You can already see it in your mind just by the mere sound and projection of the sounds within your mind. So
Right.
the 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 power of sound is uh, is amazing, and and this is a sound. There's sound that of things that we kind of guide, and this specific sound, the mantra, is being guided by the sound. So it's a great practice because we're being guided by the sound and kind of like, oh, take me back to source, you know, take me back to the source of that sound. And it has so many possibilities too, like so many you know, it's a whole universe that's that this sound is building. So every time you chant, you feel a little different, and you get a little closer to that reality. You get some taste of that reality. So what we do is we chant, and yeah, the meditation is important. So when we say meditate, we can say there's you can say everything is meditation in a sense, right? So when you put an intention before chanting, so then while chanting, although the chanting itself has its power, now you're clear what you want, like on your openness, and you're clear of being guided by the chanting. So then you don't really try to control it, just being open and let the energies flow.
Yeah, and it's like it becomes a ceremony, and not only is it a ceremony, but it's heart opening. So
Yeah.
maybe if you start off and you come to temple, or come to Mantra Central, or anywhere that you do any of these things, you may come in one way and you could leave a totally different way, because what happens is, people that may come in and they do have their heart open, but who knows what happened during that day, or what experiences they may have had. And when you chant, it's just like it lowers all your defenses. You get into a flow state, and you become the sound. And then not only do you become the sound, but you become the other people and their sound. And so it becomes a melding of energy. And then that melding of energy gets lifted and lifted and lifted. And then it circles, and then it pushes out to the city, to the state, to the world. And it just creates this vortex of truth and love and compassion. And it really does shift things. And people don't understand exactly times what's happening or what they're doing, but they definitely feel afterwards different, shifted, changed,
Yeah.
evolved. Their energy is definitely heightened. And that experience can have the time, if you want to do those things all the time. Those kind of experiences can be met all the time. And I think you and Karuna really you show that wherever you guys show up and whatever you guys do. And something else that you said that I want to kind of piggyback off of is that whole idea and philosophy of intention. When you're being mindful and you're being consciously open and aware to everything around you and your existence, once you start to be intentional, you start to become all the things that you believe, and you can create anything. And this intentionalness and these kind of devotional practices really help. One of the biggest things I have found for myself is they really keep you grounded, balanced, and your vibration at a certain height that doesn't allow things to penetrate that. So I think we're all aiming for divine neutrality, and we're not trying to have polarity as much anymore. And I think that's where the planet's heading. And I think these kind of practices can open you to more divine neutrality in your everyday, your every week, your every month of existence.
Wow. I'm glad that this is recorded, because I'm gonna make a reel out of this, at least for my records. So
I know
thank you
you
so
feel it
much.
too, and you know it. I know you know it to the core of your being.
Well, hearing it from you now, I know it better. So, thank you. Well,
Listen,
it feels like we just started, right? But it's been like a couple of hours, so we can probably
well,
do it again,
you let
right?
me know when you need to jump off because if you want to go a little longer, we can. But if you need to get going, I'm totally good with that. Whatever you want to do. I do like
Yeah,
there's a really
I
good
would like to do this again. And
well, yeah,
you can
we could you could
also,
come back once a month. I mean, and I'd love to really have the dynamic of you and Karuna too. I know
yes,
she's a little bit more meek and quiet compared to
yes,
you in the sense of she is not like that as much, but she is a wonderful energy, a wonderful human, and she has a lot to give, and I really admire her devotion on the path, and the two of you together, it's such a dynamic duo.
thank you. Yes, hopefully next time we can hear from my other better half. So,
Yes, yes. Yes, and we can talk next time if you want. We can even talk place you live at and all the different things about that place because I know we didn't even
yeah,
get to touch on that. And
yeah.
that's something that's a whole show in itself, just
Mm.
on the things that are going on where you live now. And um, just to give you a heads up, I'm doing a podcast with Rama and Sita tomorrow. So
Oh, wow.
I think the Krishna week. It's the Krishna week with my Krishna
Wow.
friends.
Okay. Have you done anything with Jen or not yet?
No, I feel whenever I feel guided that I'm supposed to have a podcast with someone and I know there's some information that needs to come out, that I do it. Jen would be a fantastic person to have on my podcast.
Mhm.
It just neither one of us have stepped into that realm yet, but I'm sure
Okay.
that we will eventually step into that realm together.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends in the ashram. And Mukunda is there. I don't know. So yeah,
Yeah, he's a nice gentleman. I haven't talked to him a whole bunch, but we've been around each other for multiple gatherings.
yeah, he's a little bit more quiet, but he's interesting because he does teach jujitsu, which also has a lot of interesting um, lessons besides
Mhm.
besides the physical part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I anybody that really has interest that wants to be on is always welcome on my podcast. As far as who I invite, I go by what I'm guided. And the thing is, and you know this from our conversation, is there's no real conversation or plan for these podcasts. I just tell people a general theme or idea, just like a thought, and that's how I lay it out. I don't want anything to be planned. Just maybe an idea, like I said, and that's what the Jill Butler experience is. Just it's how it's going to develop, what's meant to come through in those moments, what's dictated to come through us is what we're meant to talk about. It's not going to ever be rehearsed.
Okay, and also, we get to see each other.
Yes, I know. We get to see each other because we live states away from each other. But I did give you and your wife my word that I would come and visit soon. So we just have to sit down and connect and figure out when a good time would work for all of us. Because I would love to spend some time with you guys and I would love to see that property. It sounds so beautiful. So
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you again
well,
for
thank
the
you for your time and
experience.
energy and wisdom and giving my viewers a little understanding of your story and what you are and what you do. And we'll keep in touch. We can try to do this once a month. If you'd like to do
Okay.
that, we can set that up.
Yeah. Thank you, Jill.
Uh,
Hare
have a
Krishna.
blessed night. Give
Thank
my love to
you.
Corona, okay?
Okay. Love to everyone on the
All
other
right,
side.
bye.
Hare Krishna.